Hello, my dear friends. This is Blagomir, and I am happy to welcome you to my Vedic channel. Today, by your request. In the comments, I am recording a large Vedic lecture on the topic of Shakti. What is Shakti? How is this concept revealed in the Vedas, in Vedic philosophy? Well, of course, we will talk about the role of energy, Shakti, in the life of every woman, about how it manifests, and generally how it occurs. To what extent a woman can be connected with her Shakti, or, on the contrary, she lives in complete disregard of her feminine power. And we will also discuss many other important practical questions. Therefore, watch this lecture until the end, dear women, and also men who want to understand the divine mystery of the feminine principle, feminine energy. This will also be very, very useful. I am sure that such knowledge and information you may not have encountered on the internet, because these are sacred Vedic teachings drawn from sutras and other texts. So, my dear friends, what is Shakti? Shakti in Sanskrit translates to power, strength. In Tantrism, Shaivism, and Shaktism, Shakti is the consort of the god. Shiva, less commonly, Vishnu and other gods of Hinduism. In a broader sense, it is the creative, as well as destructive, specifically a feminine, divine energy. And the thing is, in Hinduism, each deity has its own Shakti, its own power, its own goddess. And along with this, they also represent personalities, meaning they have personifications. That is, Hinduism clearly makes us understand that God is not just a stone idol or an impersonal absolute. God is a personality, a living personality, and a living force, energy. And of course, all these energies, all this power comes from a single source. Therefore, it is also called Maha Shakti, or the Great Shakti, the great power. And also, from this arises the concept of Mahadevi, the great goddess. And the symbol of Mahadevi is the yoni. The female genital organ is the most important, most significant divine symbol. Therefore, when we talk about the relationships between men and women, about how they unfold, we, of course, are primarily discussing what the nature of these relationships is. Are they demonic, human, or divine? Could it be animalistic? Because only if people are at a divine level of consciousness development does a man see in his woman's yoni the embodiment of the symbol of the great goddess mother, and a woman sees in her man's lingam the great divine masculine principle. That is not just some kind of flesh organ, but an archetype, a great symbol, indeed, a divine symbol. Also, the word Shakti has quite a diverse list of meanings. I will briefly go over it now. In the Vedic tradition, but first and foremost, Shakti is the infinite divine energy, which is the creative executive force of the ocean of divine consciousness, of Lord Shiva. At the same time, Shakti is in a continuous union with Shiva and represents two inseparable aspects of one reality. Now, many researchers and, let's say, practitioners, yogis, they emphasize the knowledge indicated in the Shiva Purana that Shiva is androgynous, meaning one of his left parts is the feminine part. The woman, the right part of Shiva, is the masculine energy. Therefore, Shiva is the one who unites, embodies both the masculine and the feminine. Yes, and there are no contradictions in this. Furthermore, Shakti is the goddess mother or Jaganmatri, which translates from Sanskrit as mother of the world, mother goddess, mother of the world, great mother, the great goddess. Also, Shakti is the manifested world. She is also the mother, nature, Shakti. This is my illusion. Yes, this is a concept in Hinduism that speaks of a special power or energy of the Lord, which simultaneously conceals the true nature of the world and, on the other hand, provides the diversity of forms and manifestations in the world. Furthermore, Shakti is the cosmic feminine principle. Also, it is the inner energy within each of us called Kundalini. From here, we derive the concept of Kundalini, Shakti, energy, Kundalini. About Kundalini, I have already recorded a major lecture on the channel titled The Secret of the Greatness of Sundari of this energy. You can watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Moving on. Shakti is the feminine principle of a person, yes, our feminine half. And also, Shakti is directly the female partner of someone who follows the path of tantric yoga or tantra practice. That is, if the man is the aspect of Shiva, then Shakti is the woman who accompanies this man on the path of development of the spirit. There is also the concept of Tridevi. Tridevi consists of Parvati, Lakshmi, and Durga. Parvati is the goddess of wisdom, knowledge, art, beauty, and eloquence. Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity, abundance, well-being, luck, and happiness. And Durga is one of the most powerful goddesses. One of her names is Parvati, the mountain one, Kali, the black one, Bhairavi, the terrifying one. And there are also forms of Durga, 9 forms. Tripura, Sundari, Lalita, Kali, Parvati, Chamunda, Bhavani, Bhairavi, Chanditara, Kamakshi, Kamekshi, Rajarajeshwari, and Dashamahavidya. That is various forms, Shakti. And so, since it is now Navaratri, the spring Navaratri, I have recorded a large mystical course for you, initiatory, so that you receive sacred knowledge and are initiated into each archetype, each form of the Great Mother Durga. The link to this course is in the description of this video. You can go, gain knowledge, get acquainted with this material, and practice meditations there. It includes altar setup, offerings, and pujas, how to do all this, how, and so to establish contact with the great goddess mother. Mantras are provided there and so on. You can use it there, but this is kind of everything related to Shakti in a general sense. Now let's take a look at Shakti from a slightly different perspective, a little bit from another side. There is a concept called Shakti Yoga. What is it? Shakti Yoga is a yoga that awakens our power, and it's wrong to classify it strictly as a female type of yoga in general. What is it, right? Seemingly male and female yoga? Why is such a question raised? Yoga is, as it were, for everyone, but there is a nuance, as some classics say, and the point is that since Shakti is associated with the feminine aspect of Shiva, it would be logical to assume that Shakti Yoga has prepared something new specifically for women. However, as we already know, Shakti Yoga is the yoga of energy, that is, the awakening of energy, which in the language of yogic tradition is nothing other than Kundalini Yoga, the awakening of hidden forces, unmanifested energy that is present in everything that surrounds us, including ourselves. And upon understanding, we come to the conclusion that Shakti Yoga is indeed the connection with one's inner strength, or Antar-Shakti, or in other words, the awakening of this energy. Inherent in all living beings is prana. And if we speak specifically about ourselves, then it is our Kundalini energy. That is, Kundalini is a psychophysical energy that is in a potential, unrevealed, unactivated state in our body, at the base of the spine. This, again, to put it briefly, I have already given a large lecture on this for you. Done. Therefore, if you decide to practice Shakti Yoga, then it will simultaneously mean that you have embarked on the path of Kundalini Yoga. And so in our team, in the team of the Telegram channel, wisdom.vet, in our team, there is a wonderful woman named Elena. She is a world-class master in Kundalini Yoga practices. Therefore, if you, my dear friends, are interested in practicing Kundalini Yoga, Shakti Yoga, awakening your inner power to unleash your divine potential, under the wise guidance of the competent and knowledgeable mentor, Elena, you can write comments on this video. But of course, it would be best if you joined our Telegram channel in there. Directly wrote to the care support department with a request stating what you want, that is, simply sign up for online Kundalini yoga classes. And here is the online project. You will be able to join Elena's group and practice. Now moving on. If there is Shakti Yoga, then there is also the awakening of Shakti, the awakening of energy. I talked a lot about this in the previous lecture, so I won't dwell on it in detail. So what else is important to understand here? That Shiva and Shakti, as I mentioned earlier, are inseparable. They dance a unified dance of consciousness. And the energy of Shakti in this context, from the perspective of Kashmiri Shaivism, it is what drives the world. And this energy is everywhere. It is prana, as Nikola Tesla said. He said, guys, everything around is energy. Why are you treating people this way? He was addressing the magnets, the oil and copper kings. He said, why are you deceiving people? They were like, Tesla, be quiet. Here you go, we'll shut down all your projects. And Tesla said that everything around is energy. That is, he wanted to install several energy towers on different continents of the earth. A few, not thousands like these power lines from the last century. He wanted to install up to 10 towers, Tesla towers, and provide the entire globe, the whole planet, with electricity. Moreover, freely generated from space. No need to burn oil for this, no need for anything like that. To simply make clean energy from space. Do you understand what this means? And it really exists. It's simple physics, electromechanics. The Earth, the planet, like a huge dynamo machine, spins a kind of magneto, you see? Everything is constantly around us. Energy. But since they treat us like idiots, yes, they don't allow these projects to develop. We are forcibly, all of humanity is made to believe that oil is the main energy resource, gas, trees. So we live in this primitive communal system. They try to keep us in such slavery because, well, everything boils down to the economy. War is the economy. A good life is also the economy. And so on, and so on, and so on. Do you understand? So there you go. If everything is energy, and Shakti is also directly energy within us, meaning we are huge energy batteries, energy generators. Because we constantly generate it every day, we produce energy. Therefore, we are very beneficial to certain systems, egregores, entities, because they can siphon energy from us as we constantly generate it. Then the question arises, why are people, if they generate energy themselves, in such horror, getting sick, suffering, and unable to achieve anything in life? The answer is very simple. Guys, your energy is being taken away, your energy is simply being consumed. And it doesn't go to you, it goes somewhere else. Or you simply don't know how to manage it. So, Kundalini Yoga is precisely about not just awakening energy, accumulating it, but also directing it in the right direction. So, from the energy of Shakti, it is said in Kashmir Shaivism, our material reality is composed. What we see is nothing more than condensed electromagnetic vibrations that form matter when interacting. Mother, Great Mother Matter. And now, for those who still don't understand, I'll explain that. Why is it said that success in the material world, wealth, abundance, directly depends, among other things, on the relationship with one's own mother? Because mother matter. And until you resolve issues with your own mother, forget about material achievements, comfort, wealth, and so on. Mother. And for women, every woman is a potential mother, right? In women, which organ is responsible for materialization? Well, of course, the womb. And leading men, they understand that a woman materializes. She is a pure materializer, the god of the material world, the daughter of the earth. Therefore, as a man who is knowledgeable and aware, he treats his woman like a goddess with great respect, with great honor, because he understands that the realization of his ideas, or more precisely, the materialization of his ideas, including the materialization of new life, through the seed he invests in his woman. It depends on whom. Correctly, on the woman. Therefore, how can one not treat her with great respect and honor? With great respect and honor. And a man impregnates his woman not only with his seed, yes, and also with the seeds of ideas and meanings, thereby fulfilling his male dharma, by spiritualizing the feminine principle or chakra, animating, spiritualizing matter, the material world. That is, a man is an entity that can spiritualize any form material. And matter, as a general rule, is a dead, inert substance. That is, it is kind of inactive. And then Shiva appears to spiritualize it. And a process occurs. Creation. A man does the same with his woman. He constantly cares for, spiritualizes, and impregnates her. And she, absorbing the seed, if this seed is luminous, if the man is a leader, a practitioner, a lover of God, if he is on the path of righteousness, on the path of developing his consciousness, the evolution of his soul, he has good energy, high vibrations. The seed is bright, the seed is kind. When a woman accepts such a seed, she also becomes luminous, spiritualized, her eyes shine, she is happy, she gains access to ascension into the worlds of spirit. That is, the man elevates her to a spiritual state. That is why it is said that you can know God through your husband. Your husband is your God. In this regard, everything is very logical. Our ancestors had this. Well, in this case, for a man, a woman is a vast field, a fertile land, soil where he can plant his seeds of ideas. Seeds of life, this is the soil. If it is truly fertile, virtuous, pure, it can sprout, cultivate anything, any harvest. And if a woman is very fertile, very purely chaste, like in Bali, where they have several harvests a year, not just one, but many harvests, you can gather such soil. Therefore, our ancestors understood this perfectly, how it works, and that's why they paid great attention to the piety of women, the piety of the lineage, the piety of the family, because they understood the energetic laws, how everything works and what will happen. Well, and in order to use people for their own purposes, in order for humanity to simply become a feeding base, an energy source, what needed to be done to this humanity? To dull them as much as possible, to turn them into sheep, into foolish, irrational beings as much as possible. That's why vast networks of alcohol and other intoxicants are deployed, so that consciousness is undeveloped, ruined, so that consciousness is, so that there is no knowledge, so that people live in complete ignorance. Then you can do whatever you want with them. Take their energy. They won't even flinch. That's how it should be. So, let's return to the topic of the lecture. Shakti, energy, Shakti, is a kind of building material from which our world, the universe, is constructed. But it is also the great illusion called Maya, in which we live. Therefore, with the help of Shakti energy, form is created, any material form. And what is form if not an illusory substance? Further, we, of course, are free to decide to choose how we will perceive the forms that surround us, whether we perceive them from the position of, I am everything, and everything is in me, or I am Shiva Dabi, the potential of infinite divine consciousness, or I am simply these hands and feet, this name in the passport. Well, that's all, like 39 years old there, or 40 or 50, 20. Here, I am, and that's all I am. Let's acknowledge the big difference, and it depends on our self-identification with what we identify ourselves. And it affects our life, our future path, and the overall experience of living. The quality of this life. Why is Shakti's energy immanent in Shiva? Shiva is both creative and destructive, all forgiving and cruel. That is, he is very ambiguous. A god, right? The duality inherent in Shiva as a deity is also manifested in Shakti. Because Shakti, there is Shiva, and there couldn't be anything without Shiva, therefore Shiva is everything. Or for the convenience of our perception, we sort of separate and study certain aspects. of Shiva, saying here is Shiva and here is Shakti. Do you understand what I mean? In the highest sense, God is one, the singular, the absolute. And it is very important for consciousness to understand this. Now let's go further with you. Let's go even further with you. If we look at it in relation to our modern life, yes. A woman who is connected with her Shakti is a perfect woman. A woman becomes a goddess when she reveals this divine, radiant energy within herself. Then cosmic forces and the ability to perform miracles are revealed in her. A woman in a mind. This is the pure embodiment of the cosmos. That is, a goddess in whom cultivates ubiquitous harmony, ubiquitous fullness, and in the divine dance of this Shakti energy. Every woman can create the world and the material form of the infinite universe, unveil the mysteries of existence, and reveal the great power of the goddess mother within herself. And what is given to every woman by birth, I would like to particularly draw your attention to this, is the secret of Shakti. Who am I? Just Lucy Kulakova or Liudka from Kutuzovsky? Yes, a saleswoman. Or there, some other lady, yes, a woman or a business lady, anything at all. Or am I? This is not about me, but I am divine. Shakti, the divine embodiment of the great goddess mother. Therefore, every woman carries within her this state of divine Shakti, dance Shakti, wisdom Shakti, strength Shakti. Dear women, I am kind of motivating you to wake up, to awaken your strength, your femininity, so that you understand that everything is not limited to the physical body, name, profession, and so on. But everything is much more subtle. If a woman learns to open the state of Shakti within herself, she will never be dehydrated, drained. She will never be powerless, helpless, exhausted, worn out, fatigued, riddled with tensions, illnesses, and fatigue. That will never happen. And for a woman to be able to open up her feminine power, this cosmic power, she must believe not only in herself, she must believe that she is the cosmos. She is this cosmic force that governs planets, stars, galaxies, nature. This needs to be realized. This is again a question of self-identification. Who am I? Lyudka Kulakova, or am I the divine creative force, Shakti, that moves planets and stars? That's the difference. Very colossal changes in consciousness. One idea and another idea. One idea compresses you. It just squeezes, builds some walls, an incomprehensible limitation that dies along with this body. And the other idea expands you, takes you beyond the body, beyond even this material universe, to infinite divine potential. There is a difference, a colossal difference. Some people write comments to me, Vladimir, where were you before? Where were you earlier? Why didn't you tell us this earlier? 10 years ago, 20? We would have lived our lives differently then. There are such comments. Well, I hope that with this video, you too, dear women, my beloved, will listen, share your impressions. How do these teachings resonate with you? Sacred Vedic, do they fit? And look further, my precious ones. For a woman to be able to unlock her feminine power, yes, one must believe that is, there must be strong faith. And the feminine primordial essence, for you to understand, is very, very divine. It is radiant, powerful, therefore every woman can awaken this power within herself, this energy. Shakti, in her sacred feminine sanctuary. What is this sanctuary? It is, of course, the womb and the heart. The womb and the heart, the mind. These are the three main portals, the Trigate, that need to be connected and awakened. Furthermore, every woman is given the birthright to become a goddess in this life. But if she reveals her potential for divine consciousness, because someone, chooses a person, or karma does not allow breaking through, into the divine state, into the divine presence. Because there is a burden, there are sins, very big problems. Therefore, a person is not inclined to awakening in this life. That is, he is not given this lecture to hear and many other things. There is such a thing, but on the other hand, if a person has even a small thought that I want to be with God, live with God, I want to develop this, then the Almighty immediately provides the opportunity for this to happen. That's how merciful, that's how He loves us all. Therefore, my dear ones, you must dig deep into your divine gifts, into the divine energies that are within each of you. And then you will feel invulnerable, indestructible, inexhaustible, like the cosmos and like God Himself. And therefore, I am not among those people who just talk and do whatever you want. I propose immediate action practice. So I declare this, let's start practicing right away. That is, for us, returning to the topic of Kundalini Yoga, there is a wonderful female master who awakens, who guides and instructs women. Therefore, if you truly feel that you are ready, join these hundreds of women who practice this yoga and let your heart, womb, and eyes ignite. Moving on. A woman is not born to just make ends meet. A woman is born to unite the infinite with the infinite, revealing her feminine power in these unions, a creative power in which the infinite is embodied, where forms, yes, infinity is clothed in forms, material forms, and in this infinite world's events, wisdom and cosmic scale power are manifested. And all this is about a woman. In every woman there is hidden Shakti, the power of freedom, the mine of female energies, the mine of female power, wisdom, sophistication, sexuality, female intellect, female vision, intuitive reality. Here is a man, he says, I know. So what does this mean? He has gone through a long journey of reflection to be able to say, I know. Comparative analysis, facts, everything. And a woman says, I know. What does this mean? It means she feels, she has felt. And now she says, I know. So do you see the difference? For a woman, to know is enough to feel. So she says, for example, Vasya. To her husband, she says, Vasya, I know that you shouldn't do any business with this Petya. Like, when you just keep quiet. On March 8th, a woman says, I know everything. We've read everything, analyzed everything here. You see, everything will work out. You signed the contract and it failed. She says, well, your foolish head. I told you. Why didn't you listen to me? Well, I know everything. But there is wisdom. A man leading understands how a woman's mind works. And she says, listen, I know, but if a woman is, of course, reasonable, I know. I feel that you shouldn't deal with Vasya. Listen carefully. And my better half, my beloved wife, how do you feel? I trust your intuition. You have guided, helped, and directed me many times. So, all right, we won't deal with Vasya. Wait to see with whom. For now, I don't feel that there is a person with whom we should engage. Let 6 months or a year pass. The main thing is not to rush. Let's start when you feel this person is bright. I feel it. He communicates with God. You will be good with him. Things will progress. I feel that your energy is good. Everything is going well. Partnerships are being formed. And everything is indeed moving forward. Why? Because of wisdom. The wisdom of a wife, a woman feels, and thus knows. Let's see what's next. Every woman in the mind is in a state of always, when she speaks with children, yes, she talks to them as if they are planets, galaxies, like the cosmos, on a cosmic level. That is, for her, in the highest sense, everything around is children. If Shakti is awakened in her, such a woman cares for everyone. In the entire universe, for all of nature, the capacity of a loving heart is not very large. What's so great about loving just one husband or 1, 2, 3 children? Well, that's just the top. It's shallow. At least for me, it's shallow. I'm not interested in that at all. You understand? Well, just there, you have a wife, yes, and there, well, 3 children, well, I love them. Well, okay, then there are relatives, well, another 10, 15 people. Well, Is that it? Is that all? But we have a divine potential to love the whole world. Yes, to love all living beings, to love the entire universe, to love all forms, at least to learn to do so. That is truly a great goal. That is truly the consciousness of holy people who learn to love everything around them. They are spat on, they are beaten, yet they still love. That is a great feat. That is great love. I would like to reach that point sooner or later. Maybe there are people among you who also set such large, broad goals. That is interesting. To expand, to develop the capacity of the heart, the capacity for love. This truly arouses great interest. And all of this, translates into practice, Naib. And it is very, very powerful. Further, or, as another example I remembered, like the saints, some Orthodox fathers said, elders, they said this, well, what's so great about loving those who love you? You should love those who do not love you. This is truly a great deed. That is also a message for all of us. Further, my dear friends, in the state of Shakti, every woman can renew her life. She can destroy the old world that has outlived its time. She can free herself from an unnecessary past, expanding the possibilities of a new world, new creation, new vision, new cosmic events, new gifts of her divine wisdom. That is, a woman in the state of Shakti can destroy, sustain, and create anew. Therefore, but jumping ahead a bit, I'll tell you this nuance. This is how a woman looks at a man. That is, she has three positions. If a woman loves a man, she admires him, yes. She blesses him. That is, Shakti blesses him. His affairs start to go well. Energy. This feminine energy begins to revolve around him. That is, she blesses him. Everything starts to go well for him. There is the second option. A woman looks at a man neutrally. That is, he hasn't shown himself in any way yet, or it's unclear what to expect from him, or he has shown himself somehow, but maybe it's both good and not so good. In general, she looks, and there is no love for him in her heart yet. Just neutral. That is, she neither blesses him nor destroys him. Well, just kind of like that. Let's see, yes, what's there, how it is. And he, on his own energy, is trying, making an effort. Well, maybe his mother still supports him, gives him some energy. And there is a third option, when a woman destroys, curses a man, when he did something bad, when, that is, he behaves inadequately. When he inflicts violence, the woman starts to snarl at him, starts to curse him. What does this mean? It means that I curse you. It means she begins to project destructive feminine energy onto him. That is deadly, murderous, destructive feminine energy. And everything starts to wither away. For this man, his life, his health begins to deteriorate. And essentially for this reason, because there is such a imbalance. In relationships, men in Russia do not live long. Because most of them don't even die from vodka, but from curses, from the hatred of their own women. Their own women destroyed their husbands. As paradoxical as it may sound, but it is indeed true. Why? Because men have stopped fulfilling their dharma, stopped loving women, stopped spiritually developing women, stopped inspiring them, sowing them with good seeds, luminous ones. And since a man does not fulfill his dharma, Mother Nature, through such women, removes and destroys such negligent men, simply because they are not needed, they do not fulfill their purpose. The divine purpose. Just imagine what a subtle mechanism this is. Very serious matters. In general, I say, furthermore, a spiritually inspired woman, when she becomes such, she possesses the potential of divine energy, Shakti, and in this state of spiritual inspiration, she is capable for great good deeds for the world, for her family, for children, for her husband, for the universe. That is, she, therefore, in the Vedas it is said, yes, there is such an expression that when a woman rejoices, the whole universe rejoices with her. When a woman suffers, feels sad, is in pain. The whole universe experiences this pain, suffering, and so on with her. The same applies to Mother Nature. Why it is important for a woman to be in nature. It is important to interact with all four elements because a woman is a child of the earth, yes, a daughter of the earth. It is important for her to attune with the elements in order to firstly harmonize these energies within herself, in order to channel these energies, and then use these energies to create the reality for her husband, the reality of the family, the reality of relationships, her own reality that she desires. For this, energy is needed from the earth. Some events are created from fire, others from water. Thirdly, water, emotions, fire, actions, and so on. You see, this is a very, very serious and sacred moment. Furthermore, pregnancy is also an important topic. It is directly the manifestation of energy, Shakti, the energy of fertility, the energy of the ability to create new life. Why are there major problems? In the modern world with conception, infertility is very strongly flourishing because the divine energy of Shakti is blocked, the feminine is not realized, therefore many cannot conceive. Children suffer from infertility, channels are blocked, there is no contact with their divine essence, their divine nature. A woman does not hear herself at all. She is completely in the dark, completely betraying herself, not knowing who she is, what she is, what she is about. And the results are quite sad. Therefore, in order to have the ability to create new life, one must awaken their Shakti, their energy. This is very important. And here, of course, yoga practice and tantra are very helpful. The connection of the irrational, the intuitive right hemisphere, for example, and the left rational logic, meaning these are all practices, all balance, all merging of energy. Enhancing the right channel of the solar body, the Bengali, enhancing the left channel of the lunar to the energetic. And yes, do you understand all of this? It's like physics. Here's a battery, the right channel, positive charge, the left channel, the left side of the body, negative charge in the middle, the spine. That's where it all connects. Do you understand what this is about? Everything, Asen, is very, very subtle. This is alchemy, which was known about millions of years ago. Millions of years ago, people knew this, practiced it during the Vedic civilization. But now we are only discovering bits and pieces, and most people are in total ignorance. Either they've never heard of it, or if they have, they say, oh, nonsense, we all came from monkeys. You see, that's what they think. And they munch on their burgers. That's how it is. That's how it is. Therefore, dear women, in order to unlock the powerful feminine energy of Shakti within you, it is necessary to let go, to disconnect from control, to turn off your ego, to slow down the fast pace, the hustle, the rush, the pursuit of achievement, excessive mental activity, disconnect from time, disconnect from dissatisfaction with life, disconnect from any tension, whether psychological or mental, disconnect from your past, all your sufferings, pain, resentment, disconnect from all grievances, guilt, disappointment, anger, anxiety. All these conventions, all of this needs to be disconnected to hell. You need to relax your stomach, relax your breathing, align it, yes, and completely enter a state of calm. And then gradually, you will start to manifest inner strength. It will awaken because you will give it the opportunity for this, the opportunity, the space for it to manifest. You will turn off your endlessly racing mind, the endless stream of chaotic thoughts, like Garrett Karlamov joked in the comedy club. He said, Lynx, Larissa, helicopter, cornfield. These are the kinds of thoughts in Ubuzova's head. That's the kind of pun it is. And so, if it weren't so sad, it wouldn't be so funny, as they say. So you need to turn off your mind. And therefore, the best practice is that for a restless mind, it's meditation. For women, various spa treatments where a woman relaxes during a massage. Of course, yoga practices. We have a retreat in Bali on April 21st. Yes, here we have Kundalini Yoga, Hatha Yoga. We will have Yoga Nidra, yoga of psychic dreams, setting intentions. In other words, total relaxation. All of this will be here on the ocean shore. But if you can't join us, you can visit spa salons at home. Take time for self-care, for pleasure, for your feminine enjoyment. Manicure, pedicure, image, new spa, massages, relaxation, yoga, meditation. There are all the opportunities for this to happen, so use them, then your strength will begin to grow. If we see that a woman is sick, a woman is aging very quickly, she has no energy, she is all in suffering, this all indicates that her divine power is blocked, it is turned off, which is why all these negative things are happening to the woman. In order to activate this power, what is needed? Practice is needed, awareness is needed, one must engage. And therefore, it is best to do this in a circle, in a large circle of women who are already there. Join, as they say, the ranks of Kundalini yoginis, and happiness will be yours. After the first practice, we had a test group, and they were already saying after the first practice, wow, how cool indeed, why didn't we do this before? Hey, 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 hey. Well, as they say, everything has its time, everything has its time. Next, my dear ones, what else is important for us to realize? That every woman, when she is awakened, when she is connected to her power, everything she does with great love. And the more a woman invests love into all her actions, paradoxically, her feminine magnetism grows, her feminine power, which harmonizes her even more. And in this power, a woman blooms and flourishes. I think you have all seen such women who just, well, she blooms and radiates, well, she simply emits light, just love, as if she has a fountain of eternal youth turned on, right? And there is a woman who is 25 or 28 years old, she is all pricked with these beauty injections, I don't know, Botox, young ones are getting Botox, her face is stretched like a leather ball, and she walks around, well, seemingly with a perfect appearance, right? Those lips, the nose after plastic surgery, all the hair, her eyes shine with keratin, glassy, there's complete glass, she's not alive, like a porcelain doll walking. Let's talk about what she says, that there's no energy inside. That is, she's empty, like a drum. Empty like a drum in sorrow. To the man who, as if he is sleeping, consciousness is in decline, he will fall for it. So what about him? That is, she is empty, she won't be able to give him energy. He will only be pouring his resources, money into it. Endlessly. You understand? And in the end, he will be left with nothing. Because this woman is empty, like a black hole. Therefore, you need to awaken yourself, activate yourself, love yourself, connect yourself with God. With the goddess mother. For a woman, this is very important. Very important. Reveal the archetype of the mother within oneself. This is very important. Why? Because our ancestors called it, yes, a witch. It wasn't an offensive or negative word. A witch was a leading mother. That is, a woman became a witch, knowledgeable, leading, possessing knowledge, a mother. Only after what? When she gave birth to children, revealed the archetype of the mother within herself. After this, she could say that she is a leading mother. That is, she revealed the female archetype of the mother. She gave birth to life. After that, one could talk about something, but now our internet is full of them. Wherever you look, there's a witch, whether white, gray, or black. There are all kinds, and they're 20 years old, 18 years old. They do tarot readings, all of that. But the depth, the truth of divine understanding of service is simply not there. Well, they picked up bits and pieces, somehow, somewhere. And they do things, but they do things, and consequences follow. That is, the law of karma has not been cancelled. Our task is to look at the divine level. Either we are with God or we are what? Other options. are better. Not used. Only one. That's it. We go with God together, we live. So try to look like this more broadly on practice. To look more broadly at the question of who am I, not just a body, not just a name, not just a surname, profession, position, or something else, but to look from the position of the divine, divinity, the divine within oneself. And to identify oneself with this is very important, therefore. There is a divine potential in each of us. And in every woman, there is a divine power, Shakti. This is the main message of today's lecture, so that you do not look outward, but rather reveal this divine within yourself. If you're more inclined, for example, towards Christianity, you can reveal the divine within yourself, the power of Shakti, through the prayer to the Virgin Mary, Devi Maria. This is the archetype of the great goddess, the mother in Christianity. If you are more inclined towards Vedic culture, Hinduism for example, you can work with the archetype of Durga, the archetype of Lakshmi, any form that resonates with you, that is understandable to you. Yes, the female aspect, Maha. Kali inspires many there, anything at all, but you must start awakening this power within yourself. Because the world now needs transformation, but transformation towards what? Towards love, towards the divine, more light. Do you understand what I mean? Therefore, you have a unique opportunity to express yourself, to be in the dance, to participate in the divine dance in Shiva Shakti, to manifest your Shakti, to direct it towards love, towards your husbands, your families, your children, to create something good, something kind, something cool for this world. Some projects, some businesses now, new ones, to open now, bright ones that bring a lot of benefit to people, based on the right values, on true love, you understand? Where people are genuinely cared for. Customers come into the store and they look with a crooked face like, why did you come again? They think we owe them just because we have such products here. They think we owe them. That is arrogance, some kind of, inadequate perception. Therefore, my dear friends, let's practice and develop together. And with that, I conclude the message about Shakti for you. I sincerely wish well-being to you, your families, your relatives, loved ones, and your children. Please be happy, be healthy, love each other. And may everything in your life always be the best it can be. May everything be good. And may the Almighty Lord protect you in all your ways. Bless you. For success, for luck, wealth, and abundance. I embrace you and see you soon.